what emotion, what a blockbuster opening match in the World Cup of Pool. When the draw was made, on paper, this looked like being the best contest, and it gets us underway. That was a rousing reception for the Spanish lads. Will there be an overload of emotion, I wonder? They're up against a very talented pairing. The Filipinos, 25-1 to win this tournament with the bookmakers. If that isn't value, I don't know what is.
Team Spain wins, they like.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And of course, Spain, the defending champions, start off our 2023 World Cup. But like you said, a very difficult first match. And
thank you, Steve.
Another thing that's kind of difficult
Team
is
Spain to break.
We're going right to new felt, after the players have played all week in the Spanish Open, so they got to make some adjustments.
Yeah, this is a very different table to the one that was in centre stage for the Spanish Open. It's a wonderful Rasson piece of equipment. The Rasson tables used for all of Matchroom's team pool, including the Mosconi Cup.
I kind of like leveling out here. He's going to hit it with a draw stroke. Really clean there, Phil.
That was off the sweet spot.
Yeah, and if you've ever really watched it, I think David shows it a little more than Fran, but David gets very nervous for Fran as well. Kind of like a parent watching their child. This is going to run underneath the 8 a little bit. So they got to make a decision here early. Probably keeps it pretty simple. Just coming 3 rails towards the right middle with the cue ball.
This from Alcaide to get Spain off to the ideal start. Hear the roar! Hear the roar! Get used to it if Spain have a deep run in Lugo. They draw first blood in a first round contest that could be a final. That will do nicely, Jeremy.
Yeah, that was a really just perfect timing. Cue ball came back into the 9 ball, and see how good or how well the ball's spread. That'll always show you. Funny position here, just because the 9 ball. Don't really think they can come back short side on the 8 so easily. So he's got to come 2 rails above the 9. Looks like he has a little bit of an angle. May have to draw the cue ball back kind of underneath him where he's standing and then back out. A little bit of angle there, though.
If ever winning a rack on this kind of stage, under this kind of home expectation is routine, that was it.
Kind of deliberate what are the options really well. Like Fran was saying, to double bank that ball and hold him behind the 6, where David's a little more comfortable maybe moving the 4 underneath the 9 and then coming behind the purple like this. And doubles is such an interesting dynamic because of different types of techniques and styles and whatnot. But I think the main one is you really don't want to let your partner down. So you can feel a little extra pressure at times. First look at James Aranas.
Oh, well played. The old Filipino weapon. The kick and almost stick. First look at James Norris, as Jeremy said, but also our first look at Aranas's cue. He didn't use it last week. It didn't arrive on the airport carousel, so had to borrow the cues of Johann Chua when he was playing in the Spanish Open. He'll be delighted to be reacquainted.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fran couldn't get a lot of speed on that kick shot coming that direction, just because he had to add some side. And you think about, which teams do what the best between, the field, right? Like you might say, so far Spain has broke the balls really well, but you might say Shane and Skylar break the balls best. This team does that best.
Maximus marched into town, and those Roman walls remain intact to this day.
Yeah, pretty nice break off from James. A little bit of a kiss on the cue ball into the 9. We'll see that time and time again this week. At first glance, looks like it's impeding both the 6 and the 7, but I think there is just enough room. Well, both teams have come prepared.
We are just about to see the scores all level up.
Two Philippines wins the rack.
A break and run out from Spain in the second rack, a break and run out from the Philippines in the fourth.
It's easier to have some judgment on some things, and not sure what he's doing here, really. Oh, really good. Really good. And how accurate has Fran been so far? I mean, if he shoots that 2 into the purple and loses accuracy, the 2 comes loose somewhere and possibly some kind of straight end shot and trailing 3-2.
With Scotch doubles, you can have a very small number of shots, and when it's your turn, you need to be ready.
The extension, please.
Yeah, I was happy to see that Elliott is getting another chance for Great Britain. After, what did he get, 1 shot last year, something like that? Oh, man, Philippines. They got some sleep last night. I'll tell you that. They're playing well. That was definitely by design.
Great t-shirt, I think, for the Filipino pool players to wear. We can kick, because they most certainly can.
Yeah, rail first. Pretty unreal. Sometimes we talk about the beeps, right, at the 5 seconds. And occasionally it can really help you, right? You just go ahead and pull the trigger and you don't think, and what a shot David came with there.
Almost the pool gods scuppered it. Thankfully, the cue ball just caught that near point of the side pocket. Would that have dropped late on in the Spanish Open? You have to seriously question it. I think he was concerned as the seventh ball was going towards the pocket, but in the end it fell in comfortably. As you said, Jeremy, right at the start, day one.
Even there, we saw that one have a bit of a rattle, and cue ball's going to stop just in time. And both those balls, the 7 and the 8, just give it a day or two. They probably stand up here as well.
Cue ball and object ball close together, which adds a layer of difficulty. But not too difficult for FSR. Spain back in front. They lead 4-3 and
being very vocal with each other and deciding options. Watch out, 9 ball. Oh my. I don't think the kiss shot is there. I think they would have to hit the too thin and it still would send the 9 into the bottom rail. But what I was going to get at is, you know, they're speaking Spanish, right? So you got Spain B, who would certainly understand. But if you're talking about a lot of options and you're going to take on the shot.
Extension, please.
You know, Team Philippines actually understand Spanish for the most part. Most of the people from the Philippines, the players with the Spanish descent. Going for the bank here, maybe. This is going to come back down. Now, how far is the question? Looks like it's going to serve up a shot.
without being too harsh, that was the weakest shot of the match.
Yeah, just caught it too thick. Wanted to actually go for the long rail bank and try to play the cue ball long on the 3, maybe a backdoor safety. Now the good thing for Fran here, if he cuts at this, it looks like the 3 has got the path of the scratch kind of covered up. And normally when you're on new felt, especially,
he's been in a slump. Of course, the shot clock never a hindrance for Sanchez Ruiz, who plays at a very brisk pace.
Team Spain wins 2-1.
It all started with David Alcaide's jump to pop the 2 in rack 6.
that's a bit dicey. Definitely has some angle. Now out here on the new slick felt, the ball's cut a little easier, so got to stay heavy on this. Oh, he stayed too heavy. And you could tell just the timing was off on the swing a bit, and I think they solved a big problem also, moving the red 3 a little. Really good cueing. They may end up
Team Philippines,
taking on this shot and going offensive with a long rail bank on the 1.
They've been conversing in Spanish, of course, but the universal language of pool. They turned to the referee, Marcel Alcaide, and said push. I think that was the sensible thing to do in those circumstances. There he is. Absolutely terrific official in both pool and snooker.
Yeah, I like the push out. Just, you know, you got to gamble playing 9 ball. That's how it is. Things
Team Spain, please play again.
are going to be funny sometimes, but you don't want to take on maybes when you don't have to. And that opening shot was a little dicey, and I'll tell you, they may attack here, and I'm really shocked.
Yo creo que mejor, más difícil.
You know, if you don't like a safety, that's one thing, but I kind of like the bank. Yeah, it's very surprising to me that I thought the Philippines would take that shot on.
And in some circles, that length of table bank has come to be known as an Alcaide, because he knocked in the 9 length of table on a bank to win his second World Masters at the expense of Alexander Kazakis.
I think he's going to go offensive. He's going to come 2 rails below the 5 balls on the bottom of the table. Ooh, ooh. Little body movement there.
The 2 missed again by
Digo,
FSR.
a ver, también puedo defender. Es que
Yeah. Both the Filipino players, very good jumpers of the ball.
Extension called.
Now, I've always felt the Rassen jumps a little easier. So with nerves going, this could get very, very airborne. Perfectly struck. Couldn't hit that any better if you weren't jumping the ball. Pink in that right middle is, so you talk about with the tight pockets, of course, how tough the sides always are. A little more comfortable shooting in the corners, but the 4 is definitely playable on the sides. Main thing here, stay off the, oh my.
Now that was discernibly bad cueing.
Yeah, you kind of saw the shoulder go with it. It's hard to tell on the slow-mo, but definitely dropped the back elbow very early. Yeah, and something you don't see from James very often.
Extension called.
I tell you, I like David shooting this shot, and not just because of, you know, Fran's had a miss or two. David very good from distance with the draw or stun. Either one's a playable shot here. I think he's got to draw the ball. He's going to go forward. Got to get a lot into this.
Similarities between that and the previous shot. The shoulder was involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just looking at the scoreboard, not for confirmation of how it sits, but for how many seconds he's got in hand. Several. No mistake from Johann Chua. Spain, the defending champions, have their backs pressed firmly against the wall. The Filipinos will...
I think they'll be happy to know they're going to get back to the table with what most likely is going to be a kick shot of some sort. He wants to use the 7 to stop the red 3. Took a little gamble there, but I think it was definitely the best play. You would think he's going to kick 2 rails off the right long rail to the top rail and then at the 3. This is also where the
extension called.
The new felt makes things hard to judge.
Extension, please, off by the Philippines as well. Thanks.
Y él la puedo tirar por aquí también, aseguro calma, pero es que es muy difícil.
You'd like to go one rail at this ball and really try to make it, but I think the brown 7
Por ahí
is
te va a quedar, no llega bien para
causing
golpear.
problems with that option.
15 segundos.
Should be 2 cushions. Got a chance to still make it. Doesn't want to hit the bottom side of it, though. Could scratch.
A collective groan went around the bleachers.
Yeah, and with the other balls there were some possibilities, but also they could. Well, you got to like what Johann did there, because there was a funny angle to draw for that ball, knowing your partner. He said, don't worry, just lay me underneath this. I'll make it.
It's the fault of Carl Boys. He drew the Philippines against Spain. He'll need security to get back to the hotel if this result goes the wrong way.
And the Philippines, like I said, if Spain B goes on to win, Philippines would play them in the second round if they go on to get out here with 3 balls left. He just kind of laid up. Didn't want to make a big mistake, trusting his partner. We all know they're a dangerous team, right, Phil? But what about after getting some confidence in the opening match here?
Superb 8 ball met with stony silence.
Philippines wins the rack.
It is sunny outside, and the reign of Spain is over. The defending champions bow out in the first round.